Hi guys, how you guys doing today? And the sun's shining today, man. It's a beautiful day, you know. But today, guys, I just want to talk to you about to all parents mostly about do not make your young son dress up in in the mother's clothes. Or should I put it a different way? Do not make your young son dress up in his sister's clothes. I don't know if you hear what I'm saying. Because today I want to talk to you and explain to you what is the word manifest. What does manifest mean? Manifest is a creeper. It creeps in. And, sowing a seed. Sowing is a seed is like you plant a seed into the ground and you might not see the seed growing yet. You might not see the results of the seed growing yet. You will go away and then come back the next morning and still look on the seed and don't see nothing growing from the ground. But it doesn't mean that the seed is not being sowed. And it doesn't mean that the seed is not growing from the ground. Because a couple months later or 6 months later, you come back and you will see a plant popping up from the ground, and you would realize it was a seed that you planted in the ground, and 6 months later it has been grown from the ground. And this is what happens with when something is manifesting to someone's life. The time when your young son, they dress up in his sister's clothing, all the family gathered round and they were laughing. It was entertainment. It was just a little joke, just a little family joke. They never take it serious, like to say my son is changing his sets or anything like that. They took it as a joke. He was laughing, the son was laughing, dad and mum was laughing. It was a joke. But days after, it's been growing into that son's life, but you never see it because he was a normal teenager going to school, playing football, playing with his friends, going out, just a normal young boy. But as he growed up to a teenager, 15, 16 years old, he started to act a bit more feminine, and the mother and dad didn't think much of it, just thought that he's young, he's just finding himself, but not realizing the time when he dressed up in his sister's clothes, there was a spirit of that manifest into that son's life. There and then. You see, spirits, we can't see spirits. We can't see spirits. But just because we can't see it doesn't mean they don't exist. Don't feel what I'm saying. That day when your son dressed up in his sister's clothes, and you thought that, it was a joke. It was a seed that got planted in your son's life, and later on, as your son got older, more mature, he started to act more feminine, and now he's dressing up as a transvestite. I don't know if you hear what I'm saying. He's wearing the full shebang, the full lipstick, the full leotards, the full skirts, the dresses, and going out with his other transvestite friends and going to the pubs and places like that where they have all these transvestites. It developed in their life, in your son's life. What we don't understand is that when a seed is planted, it will be manifest. Let me tell you about John. John was getting married. It took him a while, but he decided to stop playing around with the lasses, stop dating women after women, and found one woman in his life and said, I'm going to marry this woman. Good on you, John. Good on you. And he's had a friend called Steve. And Steve was a close friend to John. And on his stag do, all the lads got together and decided to have a bit of fun. So Steve decided to to play a trick on John just before the day of his marriage. and they were all in a pub and drinking a lot of booze, and they booked a hotel. The wife was at her sister's house, so John didn't see his wife until the next day. But Steve decided to go into town and to go into a woman's shop and buy all women's gear, like a dress, high heel shoes, and he bought a wig as well. And he put on all the gear and said that he's going to play a trick on his best friend named John. So he got dressed up, put on his makeup and lipstick, and from a distance you would think that Steve was a woman because he looked like a woman from a distance. So he's geared up now, and his lads are cheering him on and saying, "Go on, Steve, go and make a joke out of John." So all the guys was hiding around the corner. Steve went up to John's hotel, knocked on his door, all dressed up in a woman's gear. And John opened up the door and was so shocked, not knowing that it was his friend Steve behind the mask of women's wear, but he ended up start chatting up his own friend Steve because he thought it was a woman. And then Steve revealed himself and said, "Look, it's your mate, it's me, Steve." And then John started laughing, and all of the lads came out from where they were hiding and started laughing at John at that day. And it was just a joke. The next day, John got married happily ever after, had 3 kids, and bought his house and lived happily ever after. But his friend Steve, I don't know if you hear what I'm saying. His friend Steve was a happy married man who had 5 kids already and been married for over 17 years. But something happened that night when he played a trick on his friend John. Something happened, because after that night, Steve was never the same. Steve started dressing up privately in his wife's clothing. When his wife was at work, Steve would be in the mirror, putting on his wife's skirt, putting on a wig, and dressing up like a woman, until one day Steve started actually going out in his wife's clothing. His wife didn't know about this for about 2 years, until one day she realized that her lipstick was gone and realized that one of her skirts was missing. And she phoned up Steve and said, "Where are you, darling?" And Steve said, "Oh, I'm just working late, love." So she thought nothing of it. But she decided to go to the local club where Steve normally goes when he's not working, and found her husband dressed up in her clothing as a woman in this club, acting like a woman, and became a transvestite. I don't know if you hear what I'm saying. The story is quite complicated, but the truth is, what I'm trying to say to you is that what we take for a joke, can I say it how it is? What we take for a joke is what the universe don't joke with. You see, whatever you give out to the universe, it's the universe duty to give it back to you and bring more of the same thing what you gave out, bring it back to you. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is what happened to Steve. He became a transvestite. He got divorced from his wife, didn't had no more relationship with his children, and he was devastated. Lost all his friends because all of his friends thought he was weird, including John, the one who got married. You know what I'm saying? And John was saying to his wife, "I remember that time when Steve did dress up like a woman and tried to take the mick out of me and tried to fool me. I noticed from that day he was acting strange." But you see, no one did know why Steve did actually go ahead and become a transvestite. But I'm here to tell you as a doctor, can I tell you as a doctor, whatever seed you plant, it shall manifest into your life. You see, you plant a seed in the ground today. You might not see it grow tomorrow. You might not see it grow the next day, but you come back 6 months and you might think that, that seed never grow. But you see a beautiful flower coming out from the ground. And that was the seed that you did plant before. But in Steve's case, it was a disaster flower. Yes. From a normal straight guy who had kids and had a wife, became a full-time transvestite. Lost all his family and lost all his friends. You know, so I'm here to tell you today, parents, do not make your young son dress up in his sister's clothing and think it's a joke. Do not make your young son dress up in the mother's clothing and think that is a joke, because whatever you do, it shall manifest onto you. God bless you guys. Have a great day. My name is Nathan Brown. Love you guys. Take care. One love.